Let's begin with the facts. Pakistan successfully defended its sovereignty and airspace against an aggressive Indian incursion. Not only did it shoot down multiple Indian jets, but it also demonstrated restraint and diplomatic maturity by pushing for an early ceasefire.
India launched a precision operation targeting terrorist camps with minimal civilian casualties. Operation Sindoor was a message. India will no longer tolerate cross-border terrorism. The international community largely supported India's right to defend itself.
Precision? Several of India's targets were in civilian zones. Moreover, the narrative that Pakistan harbors terrorists is politically convenient but outdated. Pakistan responded proportionally and avoided a full-scale war, showing discipline under pressure.
But Pakistan did retaliate with heavy shelling, causing casualties on the Indian side. India's strategic use of advanced weapons and its refusal to escalate to nuclear levels shows its control and planning. Pakistan was reactive. India was proactive.
Reactive? Pakistan was compelled to respond to protect its citizens. The fact that India's operation didn't achieve complete tactical success shows Pakistan's defense capabilities. Plus, Pakistan gained diplomatic ground by bringing global attention to Kashmir again.
And yet, post-conflict, India signed trade deals with the UK and the US, while Pakistan faced increased scrutiny. If you look at who advanced their global position and economy after the ceasefire, it's clearly India.
But let's not forget that India also faced internal criticism, especially from opposition parties and rights groups, about risking war over unconfirmed intelligence. Pakistan's internal unity actually strengthened during and after the conflict.
Internal unity doesn't equal victory. India's objective was to neutralize terror threats, not occupy land. That goal was largely met. Plus, the message to future aggressors was loud and clear. There will be consequences.
Those consequences didn't dismantle any core networks. And remember, Pakistan's air defense and drone countermeasures worked effectively, with verified damage to India's aircraft. That's not just defense, that's deterrence.
India didn't aim to dismantle Pakistan's military. The focus was surgical, not strategic occupation. In that sense, India set the rules of engagement. Pakistan's ability to defend was only in reaction to Indian initiative.
Yet India had to pull back within days. If they truly won, why did the international community push for de-escalation? It's because even powerful nations knew the risks. Pakistan's diplomacy and defense created that pause.
True, both countries backed off, but the bigger winner is who gained more leverage after the fact. India's economy bounced, and its global perception as a no-nonsense nation fighting terrorism was solidified. That's a long-term win.
But war isn't just about perception or trade deals. It's about deterrence, defense, and morale. Pakistan not only defended itself, but also reminded the world that it won't be bullied, no matter how large the adversary.
If Pakistan's biggest claim is that it defended itself, that's not a win. It's survival. India dictated the tempo, hit strategic targets, maintained international support, and returned with minimal economic damage. In modern warfare, winning isn't about flags, it's about outcomes, and India achieved more with less.
Let's not ignore how India tried to control the media narrative. In Pakistan, independent journalists provided footage of Indian missiles landing near schools. When truth leaks out despite media suppression, it weakens India's global story.
Pakistan's footage was also criticized as staged or unverifiable by many global outlets. On the other hand, India's intelligence operations were acknowledged by agencies like Mossad and CIA as swift and efficient. That's credibility on the world stage.
Acknowledged by whom? Western intelligence agencies didn't release any public confirmations. Meanwhile, Pakistan intercepted Indian recon drones during the conflict, proof that India's so-called intelligence still needed real-time validation. That's not efficiency, that's scrambling.
Even so, those drones gave India a strategic edge. India was able to neutralize terror launch pads in Sialkot and Muzaffarabad without full-scale ground incursions. The precision of these hits, confirmed by satellite imaging, speaks for itself.
And yet, Pakistan's military command remained intact throughout. The DG-ISPR provided daily briefings showing Pakistan's preparedness. India may have caused damage, but Pakistan absorbed it and stayed coordinated. That's resilience under direct threat.
Resilience doesn't equal victory. India's missile defense systems, especially the upgraded Barak 8, intercepted multiple incoming threats with near-perfect success rates. India controlled the skies in key sectors, while Pakistan avoided open-air battles.
Avoidance wasn't fear. It was strategy. Pakistan prioritized defensive posturing to avoid escalation. The PAF successfully countered key IAF incursions and prevented any strategic base from being compromised. Defense isn't cowardice, it's smart warfare.
But let's not forget India's naval superiority in the Arabian Sea. The INS Vikrant-led fleet blocked potential Pakistani maritime movement for 4 days. Naval dominance was one-sided. Pakistan didn't even risk challenging it.
India's naval movement didn't result in any engagement because Pakistan anticipated it and avoided provocation. The Navy wasn't needed because the battlefield remained on land and air. Pakistan wisely avoided stretching its fronts.
And on land, India executed joint infantry artillery strikes across the line of control, pushing Pakistani troops back in Kupwara and Poonch sectors. Temporary gains, yes, but it proved that Indian forces could breach Pakistani defenses when needed.
Those gains were reversed in 48 hours, and India never held ground. Pakistan's mountain units resecured those posts swiftly. Holding territory for a photo op isn't strategic gain, it's PR. Pakistan retained every inch of its soil.
Still, the psychological impact was massive. Indian citizens saw their army take initiative, strike hard, and return with confidence. Morale soared. The government's approval ratings jumped post-operation. That home front confidence matters.
Pakistan's morale was built not just on emotion, but performance. Despite being outspent militarily, the armed forces protected cities like Lahore, Karachi, and even forward bases near the line of control. No vital asset was lost. That's tactical success.
And yet, Pakistan came out seeking UN intervention and bilateral dialogue right after. India didn't. That shows who had momentum and who wanted out. In the chessboard of war, the side that holds the final move holds the board. That was India.
When the war paused, one moment stood out globally: the downing of 2 Indian Rafale jets by Pakistan's air defense systems. Even Reuters and Al Jazeera covered it, noting the unexpected vulnerability of India's much-hyped fleet. While Indian media went into damage control, Pakistan released footage that dominated headlines. Independent analysts acknowledged the effectiveness of Pakistan's response, even as Indian media pushed unverified footage and claims. What's telling is that despite being outgunned on paper, Pakistan held its ground, defended its cities, and avoided catastrophic losses. That's not just survival, it's a tactical win. And in a conflict where perception matters as much as firepower, Pakistan walked away with both control and credibility intact.
Yes, the Rafale incident became a media sensation. But let's be honest, the footage released was never conclusively verified by international defense analysts. BBC and Jane's Defense Weekly reported conflicting accounts, with many experts questioning Pakistan's narrative. Meanwhile, Indian Rafales had already executed precision strikes on high-value targets before the alleged takedown, achieving their mission objectives. While Pakistani media celebrated the incident as a trophy, India's broader campaign, air, land, and cyber, demonstrated strategic depth. The global narrative didn't shift because of one incident. It focused on India's proactive deterrence and ability to escalate or de-escalate on its own terms. That's what true control over a war looks like, and that's why India emerged with the upper hand.